Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
I'm your host, Ian.
Your guys' audio is a little low. I think that's good.
Yeah.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do. Where are we at?
We just introduced ourselves.
Oh, this podcast was created to provide you, our heroes, with new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure. We hope to inspire you with... Don't look at me like that. We hope to inspire... Stop!
I ain't doing shit. Just wondering why you can't get the one line you have every episode down.
You got that stare at me and you're judging me.
Go ahead. Ian.
We hope to inspire you with... God damn it. We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure.
Our show may not be suitable for young children, but neither is our D&D games.
Wow, that sounded pedo.
Yeah. It really did.
That's
And not...
point.
And when he means not suitable, we're not talking about in like a pedophile way, okay?
Heck no.
We're just like in mature content.
Have you listened to our stuff?
Yeah, I guess it's not really.
We're as mature as 3 6-year-olds in a Lego store.
This episode is brought to you by Jeff Stevens. Whoever is editing this, insert the ad now. Thank you for joining us today here at Crit Academy Studios, where everything's made up and your roles don't matter.
That's right. Your roles are like a rusted, dull, or broken weapon. Useless.
Just ain't no good. Ed says our show's explicit, not mature. That's funny.
I agree.
I gotta bring
We like to start off every episode on a high note by giving away fat loot compliments of our sponsors.
Fat loot. Damn.
Brandon, who's our winner today?
I don't know. I haven't been able to bring up the show notes yet.
Do you not know how it works?
I posted
I
it in
do,
the chat,
but I was doing something.
which is precisely why I
You
passed it.
following Jessica Alba?
No?
God, she's hot.
No, it's an old friend from high school. Our winner... Wait, what? Where are we?
Who's
Yeah, our winner.
today.
Yep.
Our winner is D. 98.
Jessica Alba. I do find it interesting that somebody of as respectful as Ed watches and listens to our show. He seems so together and so respectable, and then
Yep.
he torments me. But I enjoy it. Congratulations, DJourn 98. Like DiGiorno, like a pizza. It's not delivery. It's DJourn 98.
D-Horn.
D-Horn?
Maybe.
That's my guess.
If you enjoy the adventure, please make sure to leave Goblin Stone a review.
Oops.
We got a really great show for you guys today. Our Let's Talk About blank segment is in regards to a question is a question in regards to vampires. Our main topic today is weapon options, and our final segment is our Unearthed tips and tricks, where we bring you new and usable material for you to bring with you on your next adventure. But before all that, we spend a few minutes talking about what's going on in our realm. Brandon, what's going on in your realm? All right, guys. Moving forward, this is the first episode in the one over the 100, so we got to keep our in the realm down to a minute or two each.
Okay.
That way, because right now they're running like 12, 15, 16 minutes long, and that's just too much of the show.
Okay.
So pick a topic and discuss it. Now, if it gets too long, we get good discussion, I'll just crop the other people.
Okay.
Does that sound fair?
Not too much. I'm about ready to start inking one of our patrons' commissions, so
Oh, that's exciting.
I'm gonna do that, color it, send it to him.
Very cool. Who is it? Or what art piece is it?
It's a gnome rogue, I think it was. I
Cool.
don't know. It's a traditional art, so he paid a little more to get it done.
Okay. That's cool.
Well, yeah. Ian, what about you?
Well, actually, over the weekend, I went to a board gaming charity event that was up in Midland. I had a lot of fun with it. I also got no sleep because of it.
Right. Any particular game you played? It
There,
really stood out.
there's a list. I mean, I brought Zombicide Black Plague that went over well. Sometimes the Multiverse went well. We also played Cells of Catan. There's a couple of games in there that we played House on the Haunted Hill.
Love that game.
Yeah, have us turned into werewolves because of the event in that one.
Very cool.
And I remember before I went there, I gave a donation for like $25, and I was told thank you because before you donated, it was at $666.
That is creepy.
Yeah, but I had a lot of fun though, and it was a 24-hour event. I didn't stay for the whole time because I had to get some sleep before today. But when it was all said and done, though, I was up for 28 hours.
Jeez,
So,
dedication.
No, it probably had to be about 30. No, it's 30 hours actually. Now I think about it, because I woke up at 2 a.m. Saturday morning and Penny went to bed at 8 a.m. Sunday morning.
Wow.
So Justin, what's going in your realm?
I'm excited. Our show, our book is almost done. I get to review the final layout, potential final layout next week. So that's really exciting. I am playing Destiny 2. I got it free from Blizzard, so that's pretty awesome. And that I did my first video game stream, and that was exciting. I talked to myself a lot.
Did you actually get any watchers?
I had somebody come in, but he didn't say nothing, so I just felt like I had a pedophile pervert watching me.
That happens.
Yeah.
I've had like 6 people on stream once, and only one person was talking to me.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, so how are the other 5? Okay, not to say anything, just keep watching. That's fine.
So that's really what's going on. I'm super excited. So keep an eye out for our Unearthed Tips and Tricks book. I'm hoping to release it by the 1st of December. So we'll see. If not, we'll push it back to the end of December. But
It gets out when it gets out.
yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for In the Realm. Brandon, if they'd like to visit other realms, how can they do so?
They can visit other realms by visiting our website at critacademy.com. And we have a link there to Audible, where you can get a free 30-day trial and a free book.
Good stuff.
That's really good.
Free
I love that you
audiobook,
did that
guys.
with just a one single little line there. You nailed it.
Well,
I'm trying to give you props, man.
That's the line you gave me, so it's kind of sticking into my mind now.
Yeah, except for the very first line in the show that you couldn't get.
Eat my dick.
Careful, I may take you up on that.
Put it down your throat and floss your teeth with my balls.
All right, so so definitely check that out. I use Audible. I love Audible. I'm listening to the Mistborn series right now, which is fantastic.
Good choice.
Yeah, actually, I think it was one of your recommendations.
Yeah. It
He
totally
wants a meal, not a snack. Shut up, Tate.
God, I love Tate.
It's not the size that matters; it's how you use it. But you
That's
can't
bullshit.
But you can't get to England in a rowboat.
So moving on to our Let's Talk About Blank segment, we have a question from Daniel V. How would you turn a character or characters into a vampire without getting bitten? Without getting bitten.
With magic.
Magic? Like a curse?
It could be a curse, or somebody could have purposely undergone a ritual.
Ooh, I like that. A fancy ritual.
How is vampirism done in 5th edition?
You get bit by a vampire usually.
Yeah, that's why he's asking how do you.
I was gonna say,
turn
in a
into
lot of lore, if you drink vampiric blood, you also get it too.
Ooh, that could go tie into the ritual.
Actually, or to a degree as well. If you ever watch like JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, one of the characters in there is a vampire. They became a vampire by placing a artifact with a mask, and it turned him into one.
Our buddy Luke just had us watching some of that, and the stupid mask went on the guy's face, and he turned into a vampire, and he in the middle of the sun when the sun came up.
Yeah,
pretty dope.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, the first thing I thought about was
so you didn't watch the first season?
It wasn't the first season. It was like a compression of the first season.
Because honestly, the series does not pick up at all until the 3rd story arc.
That might be why they compressed it into a single movie.
Yeah.
But anyways, traditionally getting bitten transfers the virus, but I also think some sort of plague would be interesting.
Ooh.
Like Dracula is tied to being able to turn into a mist. What if this mist is like traveling around, like floating just aimlessly, and it happens to pass into a town, and it starts to change some of the people into vampires?
And because no humans around, there's no humans to get blood, so they all start starving, so they all go insane and start taking the area around them.
Ooh, that's nice. That's an encounter idea right there.
Yeah, that is a good one. I like that idea.
It's pretty dope.
So that so that when humans do come to the town, it's just ravenous death everywhere. It's like 40 days, 40 nights.
They're all emaciated, right? They're super thin and scrawny.
You mean like what was it, like what was that one movie?
Or 40 Days of Night.
I thought it was like I know which one you're talking about. The one in Alaska, right?
In Alaska, yeah.
Yeah, where some vampires attack an isolated Alaskan town because it's like a night for a whole month.
Mm-hmm.
God, that is a violent movie.
I haven't seen it.
I saw clips and went, "Holy crap!"
You watch a vampire fall into a giant like metal chipper,
Oh, jeez.
and the second he hits the blades, his body just turns into dust. He explodes.
Yeah.
So those are some really good, interesting ideas. I like the ritual and the drinking of the blood. I really think it depends on what you're trying to go for here, Daniel. If you're trying to go for something that the players stumble into and start to become vampires themselves, I would go with like the poison cloud or something else like that, or maybe you combine the blood with the drinking water. Maybe some vampires died in like the drinking water and it is rotting, and you find out in the bottom of the well is a dead, bleeding out vampire, and they've been drinking it and it's starting to turn them or something like that.
That's a scene from The Walking Dead.
Is it?
Oh yeah, when the
That's
zombie fell in the well.
disgusting.
Yeah, there's a bloated zombie in a well, and they were about to drink the water, and someone like tackled and was like, "No, don't drink it. It's tainted."
Huh.
Oh yeah, when you mentioned the mist, it made me think of like a vampire or Drac just kind of walking through town at night, and he goes, "Excuse me." He just sneezes on someone, they become one.
That's pretty funny.
Oh great! Now think about the anime Shiki. That was really creepy anime.
It's
Was
a
it?
disease.
Basically, some vampires settle in a small isolated town in Japan, and people just keep dying left and right. That's because the vampires keep turning people one by one into vampires
Mm-hmm.
until the townspeople like wise up and like, hey, wait a second.
I like that.
I like the Hellsing version.
What happens in Helsing?
In Hellsing, if a vampire bites someone who's not a virgin, they turn into a ghoul, who is a mindless zombie-like servant that the vampire controls.
Mm-hmm.
But if they bite a virgin, they become a vampire.
Snap.
Oh.
That's a nice subtle little subtle detail there. Could make for a great puzzle in like an adventure, I think.
And the thing about things too, though, is there are, especially if you explore lore around the world, there are multiple types of vampires too. So you could, I mean, if you do some research into that, there could probably what some ideas.
I'm a vegetarian vampire. I only eat sap.
Jeez. That's funny. All right. Well, I think that'll do it. I hope we answered your question, Daniel. If we didn't, please send us a letter and let us hear your anger and rage.
Money.
And send us $5 to expedite it to the front of the line because I have a huge email list. So, all right. Moving on to our main topic, which is in fact the meat and potatoes of the show.
I'm getting so tired of that analogy.
You don't like it? You don't like meat and potatoes?
No.
Well, clearly you're not much of the Irish. Don't they love taters? Not you, Tater.
That's racist.
Is it? I don't know. I'm gonna feign ignorance because I didn't know that. Isn't that the thing they're known for is taters?
Well, I think people keep throwing the term racist way too liberally these days.
It's time to refresh the verbiage. All right, so
Verbiage.
we got a really exciting topic for you today. We're going to be discussing weapon options. These aren't. We've picked several options up from the Midgard Kobold Press Midgard Heroes Handbook. They got a big old section on weapon options, so we picked a few to discuss, and then maybe we'll open up to some options we think would be cool on weapons that are some of our favorites. To kind of go along with the same theme that we don't have anything written down, which means it'll all be made up on the fly. So yeah, we'll have a link to in our show notes to the book. I'm really excited about this. So if you don't know, we all know that a weapon is more than just the damage it deals, don't you think?
Yep.
In combat, a skilled warrior uses their weapons not only to attack, but to confuse and disorient and disadvantage their enemies before ever making a killing stroke, right? So today we're going to be discussing some of what Midgard Heroes Handbook offers to give them a real distinct impact on the battlefield. plus, of course, some of our own thoughts on it. I think this was a really cool thing they did. Now, we're going to give you some samples. Some of the weapons have 2 or 3 options. We've only picked one for a couple different ones. So there's a lot more for a lot of the different weapons, even some of the weapons that are unique to the Midgard setting. So dropping drawers. Ian, would you like to tell us about the first weapon option here?
All right. First off, this weapon option is actually for the greatsword. Grinding Halt. Whenever you must make a strength saving throw to avoid being moved against your will, you can dig the blade of your greatsword into the ground as a reaction. Roll 2d6 and add the number rolled to the saving throw. If the effect pushing you does not have a saving throw, you move 5 feet fewer.
What do you guys think about this?
That's neat.
Not today!
That's pretty much in every movie you see, right?
Yeah.
The guy with the big sword smashes it in the ground and they drag it to stop themselves.
That's a great way to dull your blade.
And this is unique to in this one. This is unique to the greatsword. So I think that's fantastic and mixes it. If there was one feature you think would enhance, and that every greatsword should have, that should be a common mechanic, is there anything you would add?
Cleaving.
Cleaving?
That makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely is a good one that makes sense. In the DMG specifically, they give an example of optional like cleaving. Like if you kill something, the extra damage goes to an adjacent target if the attack would hit. So there is a rule for that as far as regarding melee weapons.
I can also see an argument too for your strength modifier transferring over to somebody that's adjacent to your main target.
Yeah, that's a good one. The first thing that I thought of is, you ever see the heroes who dig their big giant greatswords in the ground and then hide behind them?
That's like anime stuff.
Well, still, I think that, if you've got a big enough weapon,
Sure.
right, you're using it as partial cover. I think it would be really cool that if somebody dug it into the ground to give themselves a temporary, bonus to defense, even if it is, partial cover or just a plus 1 or 2 to AC, much like a shield, since it can be big enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that's really cool. You want to take the next one, Brandon?
Yeah. Next up, we got the longsword, and it has lock blades. When a creature attacks you with a weapon, you may use your reaction to attempt a lock blades and parry their attack. Make an attack roll with your longsword. You have advantage on this roll if you are wielding your longsword with 2 hands. If the result of this roll equals or exceeds their attack roll, their attack misses.
What do you guys think about that? That's pretty baller.
That's actually a nice touch, because the longsword, does have the versatile feature, but I don't think most people would use it, because your A is like, if I can just use both hands, why would I not use a greatsword? Or, in many cases, if you're using it one-handed, which is quite common, just because you can wield a shield on the other hand, especially if if you're a fighter, if you took like the armor bonus one, or the duelist, they give you a bonus to your one-handed attacks anyway. That's about equal, so that gives you an incentive to use a longsword with 2 hands.
Right. What do you think, Brandon?
I like the idea. The first thing I thought of was Jedi.
Oh, Saberlocks,
When I saw it, yeah. First thing I thought, I was like, oh, hey, that sounds familiar.
Bum, 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 bum.
That's good.
Yep.
So I think this is really cool because I can envision a player using it to their reaction to do a parry. But to me, I think this is interesting because there's already a mechanic built in that's a feature of one of the classes. The parry mechanic for the Battlemaster. But I think this is interesting specifically because it takes advantage of the versatile feature.
And the other thing, too, is the fact that even if you are a Battlemaster, you don't have to burn your superiority dice to do this.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, it just consumes your reaction, so that you could use that to take another Battlemaster maneuver.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I think it really fits with the flavor. The first thing I thought of when I was reading this is somebody charging at you and you catching their blade mid-swing and like redirecting it so it smashes into the ground, something like that. That's kind of what that reminded me of. Once again, I watch a lot of anime, so that might be where I'm getting that. You know what I'm talking about? Where they're so powerful they just parry their weapon and like an explosion happens on the ground and shit.
Yep. I parried the weapon and the mountain next to me exploded.
If there was any feature you think a longsword could benefit from that it should have that it doesn't, is there anything you can think of?
I can think of a lot of options, but just because if you look at a longsword, historically speaking, there's a lot more variations to longswords that most people don't realize. Because I know, like for example, I watched a video because people always make the argument longsword versus katana, which one's better? And part of the argument they made in the video, like, okay, let's face it, when you picture a katana, yes, there's 5 variations that make katanas and their qualities, but more or less, when you look at a katana, you know what to expect, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with the longswords, there was a lot more variations to them because each longsword was crafted with a particular methodology in mind. Like there were some longswords that were designed specifically for thrusting, to get through chainmail, to get around broadsword. There were some more made for slashing, or some more with parrying in mind too.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, yeah. So like it's not the 1-to-1 test. Lots of people are making it out to be.
Mm-hmm. I think if I was to give the longsword a particular feature that it doesn't actually have, yeah, you totally like there wasn't a fork in the road with the question, but you just said, "Fuck it, I'm going off road."
I feel like it's gonna segue. Use that example to segue into something, but I forget what that
I
segue was.
forgot by the end of it. The one thing I think the longsword would benefit from, you actually mentioned katanas. And that's something that I really think, I see a lot of complaints on the forums that why don't we have a katana? I always say reflavor the longsword.
Which
just say it's a katana.
I feel like that's an example that's given.
It is.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I think would really help with that is if there was a feature like a quick draw feature or something added to it.
Oh sure.
Where like if you draw the weapon from the sheath and make an attack from the sheath position, maybe you get like an advantage on the first attack or something.
Or maybe you'll have to do a move action.
Oh, maybe. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. The next weapon we have is the Maul. This ability is called Crushing Blow. As an action, you can make a single attack roll with the Maul against an armored or naturally armored creature. If the attack hits, the target's AC is permanently reduced by 1 until its armor is repaired, but it cannot be reduced below 10 plus its target's dex, 10 plus the text, 10 plus the target's dex modifier. This attack has no effect on creatures with magical armor unless your Maul is also magical. So this is interesting because one thing that does get overlooked in D&D is armor damage, right? At least in 5th edition. If you get hit a bunch, there's really no maintaining your equipment. It's just assumed you're doing that sort of stuff in downtime. In this one, this weapon, this feature of having a Maul is saying when you hit somebody, you begin to damage their armor. Now, what makes it interesting is most armor, like for cloth, like leather wearers, is mostly just a static number plus their dex. So they probably won't see nearly as big of, excuse the pun, impact as somebody who's wearing plate who has, a 10 and plus 0 as their dex, and has 16 armor class. So
honestly, I could see that an argument for it just not doing that to leather armor because it's already relatively flexible in the first place.
Oh, that's actually a good point.
Or even mail to a degree, maybe more for like a plate-based armor, so some kind, or like so I think this is really cool because it gives the Maul this we're starting to see now as we're reading through some of these how different it makes the features of the weapons. Mm-hmm.
So it's no longer just a difference in just damage like it is in 5e, but now you've got something that picking your weapon makes a difference. Now if you go back to some of the episodes we had about carrying multiple weapons, now you've got kind of something to work with, right? Because now you can pick the best weapon for the job, right? Something I think that would be
this
really
calls for the 9-iron.
One thing I think would be really cool to go with a Maul or any big impacting weapon would be something that would have a chance to knock them to the ground. I think I've made a magical item that's done something that if you crit when you hit them, they have to make a Constitution save or a Strength saving throw or fall to the ground or something like that prone. Heavy impact weapons should have a lot of oomph to them, and so I would probably add some sort of feature that would a weapon option that would include potentially knocking a foe to the ground when you hit them. In my case, what do you guys think about that?
About what you said or about the Maul?
About what I said about the Maul. Or that doesn't matter really. Just talk.
Yeah, I agree with it. If it's a large weapon and you're getting smashed in the chest with this thing, I'd expect that at some point you're probably going to fall down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 second, I'm getting kind of toasty.
Toasty.
With the crushing blow that permanently reducing your AC down by 1. That's a big deal, especially if you're doing a PvP.
Yeah.
It's gonna make the other person think twice about what they're doing.
And that's why you don't mess with Dennis.
That's baller. Ian, do you want to take our whip?
All right, with the whip.
Nay.
I will shank you. The whip ability is Snare. As part of your attack action, you may snap your whip around a creature or its weapon. If you target the weapon, the creature must make a strength saving throw or drop its weapon at its feet. If you target the creature, it must make a strength saving throw or be restrained. It may repeat this saving throw at the end of each of its turns. You cannot make whip attacks unless the restrained condition is ended, which makes sense.
Right, because essentially you're wrapped around the target, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about this?
Good touch.
Was this not an ability that was included with the whip?
It sure wasn't, but it feels like it should be.
It should have been, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest. If a player asks me to, they want to use a whip, I probably will make this a feature of any whip that they use.
Right.
Because right now it's not really. It doesn't do some of the stuff you would expect it to as being part of a whip.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that has to do with the simplification of it.
Whenever you hear whip or think of a whip weapon, what's one of the first movies that comes to mind?
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and what does he do a lot with his whip?
He
Disarm
cracks
people.
it. Does he disarm people?
He
I remember him
He
swinging.
disarms people. He snares logs to jump from one pit to the other.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember him cracking people. I remember shooting a guy with a sword.
And
That has nothing to do with a whip.
yeah.
It's because he was sick.
And actually, that's true.
Yeah, I know. That was one of the interesting facts about that scene.
And I'm pretty sure all the Castlevania fans would like this feature too.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Because right now, it's really low damage, but you get reach. Well, you can get high damage with a polearm, unless you're dex-based, but that's kind of the point, I guess.
I say, speaking of Castlevania, that should be something that's added too.
I need to watch this
As
new
a-
season.
Possible ability.
It was awesome.
Alright.
I finished it.
I've heard that.
It's
pretty-
out already?
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
pretty baller.
But one of my favorite things to do in Castlevania is when you have the whip, you just throw it out. If you hold down the button, the whip stays out and you can like twirl it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They should have that.
Most people don't know that.
So I mentioned that a lot of these weapons have other options in the book. You mentioned the whip. One of the other, well, of course you mentioned the whip. We're talking about the whip. One of the other features it talks about is like cracking the whip and using it as like a tool to intimidate animals and stuff, like doing the whip crack and stuff, which I think is cool.
Ow! You hit me in the nose.
Um,
That's right.
I don't remember exactly, but it's called like the bull whip or something. I really like this. It really fills an area that wasn't really fleshed out in the book for 5e. So I'm really glad to see that Kobold Press kind of identified that and have now have made adjustments and stuff like that. The one thing that I think I would add to this is I'd probably want to give the wet whip an option that if you a trip feature.
Sure.
Grab someone by the leg and pull them out if it makes sense that you can grab their leg and pull it out.
Or knock him prone.
Yeah, because once again, I would probably use the Battle Master feat as kind of a template,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that would be a really good option to go just with this weapon.
Yeah.
So, that should be a DM tip. Anyways, who read that one?
Me.
Ian.
Do you want to take the next one, Brandon?
Yeah, so you got hammer and bludgeons. And this ability is called improvised clobber.
I
I read ahead. This one's pretty funny. If you are using an improvised weapon that counts as a club, you may choose to strike. Wait, what? Yeah. You may choose to strike with such force that your weapon breaks. As an action, make a single club attack. On a hit, this attack is an automatic critical hit, and your improvised club breaks.
What do you guys think?
Legit.
I imagine getting smashed over the head with a chair. I'm pretty sure that would fucking hurt.
Yeah.
So-
But then you'd have to find a new chair. I picked this one because I really like that. In fact, it encourages the improvised weapons use, right?
Sure.
And it makes that play more appealing. I already think it's fun because when I'm just, I don't have a weapon. I've made my character to just swing with whatever's nearby. All that is nearby is a rock. Okay, smash your head in the boulder. All that is nearby is a table. Break a table over your head. All that's nearby is a mailbox. Now I got them all. Yep. I really like that sort of play. So having a feature that really enhances that makes improvised weapons more interesting, and you want to do it. Now, it also mentions, it basically says anything that counts as a club. So chair, table leg, anything like that. I think this is really neat. I can see myself applying something similar, like as a normal rule. If somebody hits somebody with a critical hit on an improvised weapon, making it break, I think just would be cool. But when it comes to like hammers and bludgeons and this improvised clobber, what kind of other features options would you think you would add if you could?
For an unarmed weapon.
Or a hammer. I mean, it's both bludgeons and hammers.
It's where there's not like a feature to make a creature dazed. Like you hit them so hard off the head, they're just going like they're seeing stars for a round or something.
That could be something that a good improvised weapon could do, right? Daze an opponent instead of being an auto crit. You could change it to like a dazing effect or a stunning effect.
Yeah.
One still breaks or something like that, though. Like, you have no idea how much I want to play like a bar wench. This run around beating people with frying pans. Dinner is served, bitch. Back.
That cast iron? Yes.
That one won't break. The next option the next weapon is the dagger. Now, right now, I don't think daggers get enough love because really, why wouldn't you just wield two short swords?
Because you can hide them easily.
That's a good point. You can hide them, so
and you can carry, in theory, a crap ton of them.
That's another point. So there are some points to that, but in combat, you probably would just you can throw them too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little tiny subtle things, but there's only one person I've ever seen play dual daggers, and that was Ryan because sheer flavor.
Yep.
He loved the idea of it. Well, with something like this, I think it really gives that a really interesting feature we've all seen in movies and comics and stuff.
Yep.
But isn't actually covered in the D&D stuff. It's called pinning point. When you make an attack, or if you make a melee or ranged attack with a dagger, you may attempt to pin a large or smaller creature to a wall or a surface by catching their clothing with the knife's point. Knife's point or dagger's point? Guess it doesn't matter.
Nope.
This maneuver can be used against creatures without clothing at the GM's discretion. Make an attack roll. If the attack hits, the target must make a strength saving throw. On a failure, the target's speed is reduced to 0 until the dagger is removed. The target can make another strength saving throw as an action on its turn.
Great, nothing about Starship Troopers.
Medic!
Sir, I just don't understand why we need knives.
Because could you just press a button and fire a nuke? Put your hand there on the wall, Private. As you can
Put your hand on that wall!
Thunk, as you can see, if you disable your enemy combatant's hand, he cannot use it to press a button to fire a nuke. Or something to that effect, anyway.
That's pretty close. I really like that show.
Or after I saw a meme to that showed the clip, as you can see, if you disable the mage's hands, they cannot use their somatic components for their spells.
That totally is a meme. I think you can make that one.
No, they did.
Somebody already did make that?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. So what do you guys think about this this pinning point for the dagger?
I think you have a lot of fun with this. And I definitely can see the argument being used, this feature not being used just for knives, but also for arrows or bolts too.
It actually mentions that right in the book, actually, regarding this particular feature in daggers.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I once again coming back to you guys ever seen or not coming back to you guys ever seen Mystery Men? Guy that throws the forks? Fuck yeah. I'll be the most badass chef in the world.
I still need to watch that movie.
Oh, you've never
haven't
seen it?
that?
No.
It's like it's
so
a hilarious superhero movie.
I know,
spoof.
that's why I want to see it.
The guy's like throwing like kitchen knives or kitchen forks at people.
You know that I know that you know. Wow, you want to step ahead of me. I just thought you knew I knew.
What do you think about this, Brandon?
I think it's an awesome concept to be able to take the big bad and just pin him down for a moment while you can take care of the addies.
Yeah,
that's legit.
That's the legit strategy. Like, all right, Rogue, I know you're used to sleeping in from behind, but I need you to keep your distance and just keep him pinned against the wall.
Why am I not picturing Edna from the crowds going, no capes?
That's funny. You mentioned being able to hide daggers easily.
Yeah.
The coolest if I could add a feature to this or an option, it'd be the stuff similar to Ezio's little hidden mechanism things, right? Like where they can pop out and give some sort of surprise for the first attack.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really cool. What about you guys?
That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Of course, I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan, so of course I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you ever seen the kunai on the ends of ropes?
Yeah.
Where you're like spinning and launching them? I think that would be a really cool like variant you could do.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty baller. Because that'd just be really showy and flashy. You spin, twist, and then drop the thing and it falls in front of you and you kick it with your foot right into the thing's head. Be awesome. You want to take the crossbow there, Ian?
All right. Our next weapon we are looking at is the hand crossbow. And this feature is Concealed Sidearm. Instead of making a dexterity stealth check to hide yourself, you may make a dexterity sleight of hand check, contested by an active or passive wisdom perception check, to conceal your hand crossbow. As an action, you may make a weapon attack with a concealed crossbow against a creature that has not yet acted in combat. This attack has advantage.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Yeah. And especially if you're a roguelike character, that can definitely be a pretty big leg up.
Yeah, it could be very advantageous almost.
Yep.
Because it gives you advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was bad, wasn't it? A little bit. What do you think, Brandon?
I like the idea of a hidden weapon, because I'm a big fan of surprise attacks. Although I guess it's not really considered a surprise attack, is it?
Well, depends.
Well, you're getting advantage, so surprise. I like this. I don't see hand crossbows used very often. I had one player use it in line with a rapier, just because she wanted to play like a witch hunter type thing.
From Diablo?
Something like that. No, actually, I don't know if it was from Diablo. I think it was from the idea was from the old, maybe. I think it was from the old Warhammer Online game.
Actually, remember a webcomic once poked fun at the witch hunter or hunter class or whatever it's called in Diablo 3, where they are wielding hand crossbows. Like, yeah, you think it looks cool.
Do you run out?
You gotta reload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was playing, it was the Demon Hunter, I think. When I was playing the Demon Hunter, I always envisioned her like Laura Croft that has these little things, and she just runs them down her side backwards and cocks them and loads a bolt into them.
Yep.
Yeah, because when I played the Demon Hunter, I was like, where is she getting all those bolts from?
Right.
I think this is really cool. It adds a level of stealth to an already really cool weapon that I don't think gets enough use.
Don't let me go all Solomon Kane on you.
The one thing I think I would add to this is like a quick reload or feature. And actually, I say that, but now that I think about it, I think it actually has like a rapid fire feature inside this book already.
Sure. That
you could reference for that. I think we just had a magic item that did like a floating like spectral crossbow thing.
Something like that.
So, definitely multi-bolts I think would be a good one. Like the stupid bowcaster thing that Chewbacca uses, where it shoots like 3 bolts at once or whatever. It's like a spread shot. That could be interesting. Like give it disadvantage and then allow it to hit multiple targets adjacent to each other.
I need to get one of these.
That'd be really cool.
When Han Solo was shot that one stormtrooper, it flew back like 30 feet.
Oh, I do remember that. That was out of that new movie, right?
The
older movie, not the newer one.
The one that was a remake of Episode 5?
Yes.
Three.
Yeah, how many giant planets are you going to blow up?
Right.
Anyways, so the last and final weapon that I put in here. Now, mind you, this is nowhere near the full collection that's in this book. There are features for every weapon. The net, even, the tridents, the poleaxes, rapiers, short swords, everything. So keep that in mind. We only looked at a very small sample that's in this book, but a lot of them are very fun and very cool. I had to, of course, pick my personal favorite as the sling. We had an episode called Master That Sling, and it gave you lots of cool ideas for your sling. My personal favorite is choking a bitch. But, you know, is Wayne Brady going to have to choke a bitch? I had a lot of fun with that. So to see this in here getting some love, it had another. It made me really happy. So this one is called the Underdog Strike. Actually, I think I put two of them in here. I did.
You did.
So the first one you get is called Underdog Strike. Tell me if it sounds familiar. As an action, you may make a single ranged weapon attack with your sling against a creature at least one size category larger than yourself. This attack deals normal weapon damage and an extra D4 bludgeoning per size category difference. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, David and Goliath.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So you get a little bit of bonus. So this encourages you to play a small creature with a sling, which I think is awesome. I'd play like a forest gnome who slings nuts at people. You look like you could use a little more nut in your diet.
Sunsubane!
Oh man, my Cody, one of my buddies, Cody, his son, he dressed him up as Krillin for Halloween, and he spot on. He's a little 1-year-old. It's hilarious.
Sure.
So I really think this is a really cool feature. It really gets that flavor of
Tater.
Oh, Tater says, "Yeah,
These
how
nuts.
about D's nuts?" You could even call yourself D. Like, how would you like some of D's nuts? I like that, Ed. Tater's the man. So I really think this is a really neat. This is just a simple damage buff. I would say it puts it on par with like a crossbow or a heavy crossbow.
Something like that.
Isn't that a D8 or is that a D10?
D10.
So puts it up. It puts it up there and makes it strong, a little bit stronger, which is pretty cool. Because I mean, very few people use a sling. I think I was probably the first person I've seen use a sling in a very long time.
And actually, people do underestimate how much damage an actual sling can do.
Yeah.
Especially somebody knows actually how to use it.
Yeah. And then one of the other features it gets is called Head Crack. As an action, you may make a single ranged weapon attack with your sling. If the attack hits, the target must make a Constitution saving throw or be stunned until the next turn.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So it doesn't do damage, but it stuns them.
Gunk.
Yeah, we love you, Tate.
What's that say?
He's always here. Showing lots of love when I am the only one watching and knowing it will be edited out.
I do edit out a lot of stuff, but I do try to keep some references in there. What do you guys think of these abilities?
I think it definitely adds a lot of utility to a weapon that people just don't use.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal because I don't think anyone uses sling because it's such a puny looking weapon. It doesn't seem cool.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those bad guys I was fighting didn't think that.
Yeah, I think the only time I've ever used a sling was when they first released the pre-generated characters for the first playtest run for 5th edition.
And it comes with a sling.
Yeah.
All right, well, I don't have a javelin or a crossbow that anybody can shoot or a bow that I can probably do a little damage. I can put a rock in a thin piece of cloth.
Yep.
Yeah, that does sound kind of... I don't know. I love the sling because you can throw all kinds of shit at people. But you're right. Not a lot of people use it. I'm the only person I can recall using it in all the D&D 5e games I've run.
Oh, I feel like the... back in Age of Times, the Israelite soldiers actually used slings in actual warfare.
Man, I would love to try to learn how to use a sling.
Yep.
That'd be pretty dope.
It's not easy.
No, it's not.
Anyways,
I made one out of paracord ones. Went out back with a rock. Okay, this isn't very easy to do. Okay.
I imagine it's a lot like throwing underhanded, where you got to get the release just right to get it go the direction you want. Anyways, so that'll do it for our main topic today. We did weapon options. You can find these and many, many more in the Midgard Heroes Handbook from Kobold Press. We have links inside our show notes. Definitely check it out, or you can go to koboldpress.com or Amazon and check out the book. It's really fantastic. Like I said, we didn't do all the weapons and we didn't do all the different features for each weapon. So definitely take a look if this is something you really want to spice up your characters a little bit. This is a good options available. Before we move on to our final segment, our Unearthed tips and tricks, we have one more gift to give away. Compliments of Loresmith. Ian, who's our winner today?
Our winner today is Mark Bonington.
That's Bonington.
I'm not stopping until you all are with me.
Came back home on Saturday night. Drunk as drunk can be.
I didn't realize that's what it was with the Hulkamania again.
That's one of the songs I'm considering replacing the Hulkmania song. We'll see.
Yes.
Yes, I should.
Yes.
You like that one better?
Yes.
Congratulations to Mark Bonington. If you enjoy the... Did anybody say who it was?
I said Bonington.
He said Bonington. I said Bonington.
Oh, it's definitely Bonington.
Bonington. It's Mark Bonington.
Congratulations, Mark Bonington. If you enjoy the adventure, please let Lore Smith know. Leave him a review. Tell him what you like. Tell him what you don't like.
I think we've had this discussion before, actually.
Did we? Probably. Yeah, he's won before.
Yeah.
Moving on to our fourth and final segment, our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment. Would you like to, Ian? Would you like to take our character concept?
First on deck, we have our character concept: left behind. You were raised by your aunt, father passing at a young age. After his passing, your mother left you to become an adventurer in order to acquire the wealth needed to give you the life that you deserve. It has been many years now. She left so long ago, you've nearly forgotten her face. The scent of her lavender perfume is the strongest memory you have of her. You know she is alive, as your aunt continues to have gold coming in every few months. Enough that you are well taken care of, and that should you choose any apprenticeship or other training that you seek, you can get it. All you really want to know, though, is, does she still love you? You decided to become an adventurer. You've heard of the dangers, but it must be really great. An amazing experience. Why else would your mother not return to you? You set out in the hopes of experiencing the same amazing adventures your mother enjoys, in the hopes that someday you find the lavender-scented woman who is your mother.
Didn't get raped by a bugbear.
I was going to say goblins, but okay.
Oh!
You got that reference.
I haven't even seen it yet, and I still got it.
Yeah, I'm actually amazed how pissed off people were about that.
About what?
Okay. There was a rape scene in like the first episode of the anime Goblin Slayer. Be like, holy crap, this anime is intense! So much so that Crunchyroll actually put a warning on every episode of Goblin Slayer since then. It's like, yeah, but every episode has never been that level of intensity since then. So why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
I did figure out why they blocked it on that website. They let their 9th or 8th thing is nothing that's not PG discussions because kids go there. Anyways.
Well, people of 13, but yeah. And I
It's
did read the two. I'm like,
say-
I guess that makes sense, even if I did censor the comment.
people are freaking about that scene, and I challenged them to watch When They Cry.
Oh.
That is the most disturbing show I've ever seen in my life.
I only saw pieces of it and went, nope.
It's
No.
horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great plot. It's a good little horror story, but it's just
And it's always the same character.
Horror or horror?
horror.
Oh.
Horror.
And it's different. And they actually like tell different stories each episode with the same characters, but they're each self-contained stories because they kind of have to be because what happens to some of the characters.
So what do you guys think of this encounter?
You mean character background?
Yes. What do you guys think of this character concept?
I think it's a good one, and it does give a reason for your character to venture forth, and I can see how they might have a what's the word like for an idealized version of what an adventure is being like.
Right. Because, I mean, in this character thinks that, oh, it must be an amazing experience. Why else would my mother not return to be my mother?
Maybe because she's fighting the undead horde that would otherwise remain unchecked and flood the land with their evilness.
Honestly, that's not bad. And I think this is good because it leaves a lot of interpretation, right?
Oh yeah.
Brandon, do you guys recognize any of this? I got 2 big inspirations for this story.
Samurai Champloo
Is one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope.
Hunter x Hunter.
I haven't seen Champloo or Hunter x Hunter.
I've never seen Hunter x Hunter. I've heard good things.
I've seen some
amazing.
episodes.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
In Hunter x Hunter's Gon's dad leaves and doesn't ever come back.
Isn't
He
that
becomes
like
a hunter.
Isn't that like every anime ever? Because there's never a dad there.
Well, but his dad just left. And, anyway.
Am I wrong?
And then the
So mad.
what does the dad smell like? Does it
Sunflower seeds.
sunflower seeds? So that was kind of the
Or
inspiration for
sunflowers,
this.
something like that.
When I was making this encounter, I wanted something that wasn't a tragic background. I wanted something that could provide a little bit of hooks in the future, and I think this leaves it open for good hooks on what is your parent doing, why is it they haven't returned, and is there a reason why they smell like lavenders? Just the perfume, or is there something more to it? Maybe it's a magical cloak. I don't know.
No, it reminds me of a story.
What's that? Which one?
A young boy who was enjoying his life, and he was being cocky and such, and his father would come home every day from his job as like a blacksmith or something like that, and the kid ended up talking to a priest, and he said
we know where this is going.
to appreciate to appreciate life more, look at your father's hands, try to understand. And the father would come home and his hands would be all cracked and nasty looking. And it makes me think that with this character concept, this person goes out into the wild, becomes an adventurer, and they realize how much effort their mother is putting into them because they're starting to experience what their mother has.
That's good. I like that. That's some deep shit, bro.
They make them think, oh, this can't be too hard, and they find out how difficult it is. It's like, wow, she's going through all this shit just for me.
What I think would really be cool, you could, as a DM, if a player brought this to you, you could bring it along that as they're traveling, they start to find evidence of their parent or this character's mother. Like, you end up going to this village where it turns out that the elder was somebody that that character's mother saved some odd years ago, and she recognized them by the way they look, and sees the family semblance and is as hospitable towards them and has a good, love for them.
And when they eventually find their mother, they find them standing vigil in front of an arcane portal where the hordes of the depths try to escape, but she holds them at bay.
Holds them at bay. I like that.
Yeah, so. Well, when he said finding evidence of his mother, I thought you were talking like, oh, he's walking through the woods, and that's a ring finger right there.
No, I was thinking something more of living up to the hype. The reason she can't return is because she's got hundreds of enemies because she's been hunting and taking bad guys out. But anyways, so
great.
That is
great. Nothing about Genkai from Yu Yu Hakusho.
God, I love Genkai. Bar none, one of my favorite old characters.
Yeah. Yeah, she's such an old biddy. She's great.
Yeah. Like, shut up and listen, you dimwit.
I was like, oh, I know about you, Genkai. You're such a hero of justice. I hate people like you. You idiot. I don't give a crap about justice. I just killed the enemies I needed to get what I wanted, and y'all happen to be evil psychopaths.
Yes.
It was something like that, anyway.
I don't foresee you still lasting much longer.
There's no way he can win.
Wait
Not
for
by
it.
his condition.
It seems that he's the only one that isn't aware of that.
Dimwit.
Yomi's greatest power has yet to be revealed.
Bring it on.
It's only a 2-minute clip. It seems like it's taking forever.
Is he still trying to win?
Oh, it's not
It's
the one
much
I
more
thought it
than-
was. That sucks. It
Moving
says
along.
best scene in Yu Yu Hakusho, and it's got Genkai in it, and it's not.
That's like Genkai.
No, but the picture's Genkai.
Ah.
But she's got some pretty baller words, especially when she's training his punk ass.
Yep.
Shit, I lost my notes.
Great, now they think of old biddies and nothing about old Top from Legend of Korra. So, you train your Indian rockman thing? Yep. So what was that like? What's the tell? I threw rocks at him, he complained, and Sokka fell in the hole.
I really like this encounter idea. We hope you guys do too. That is our encounter concept of the podcast, Left Behind.
No, that's a character concept.
That is our character concept of the podcast, Left Behind. We hope you guys enjoy that character concept as much as I do. Our monster variant of the day comes from patron Nathan Hurd. It is the Grinner. The origin monster is the Tanaruk, which is actually in Volo's guide.
Yep.
So, just forewarning, this is less of a variant in my opinion and more of a custom monster just because there's so many changes. But I still wanted to share this because I think it's really cool.
It's like if they turned the orc into if the orc wanted to be the Joker.
Yeah. So, some orcs devote themselves to Grumsh by ripping out one of their own eyes in exchange for power. Other orcs, however, fall away from Grumsh and follow other destructive deities. Some orcs follow the archdemon Dentist.
Dentist?
Yes. It's spelled Dyntizt, but later on it says pronounced dentist. These orcs gain their power by ripping out their own teeth and carving a permanent smile upon that face.
Do you know how I got these scars?
Oh my god.
I made a pact with an archdemon named Dentist. So there's a couple different changes to this this stat block. First, you have to bump up the wisdom because we're going to give it spellcasting.
Yay.
In addition, you also give it bonus +2 to religion instead of perception, and damage resistance none instead of fire or poison. So it loses a few things too. The features of interest though, first is the spellcasting. The Grinner uses wisdom as its spellcasting modifier, but he gets access to some pretty interesting spells. Many of which are in Kobold Press's Deep Magic series in the Void Magic book. So definitely check that out. It gains access to Crushing Curse, Word of Misfortune, and Vicious Mockery.
You smell.
Bane, Command, and Maddening Whispers. Now, each of those in and of their own are mostly different forms of control.
Yeah.
But the thing that he's got that really stands out, in my opinion, is Called Shot. If the Grinner scores a critical hit, it leaves a disfiguring scar on the victim. The scar curves up from its mouth in an evil grin, and might even remove a tooth or two.
Oh!
So, before I even go any farther, what do you guys think about that?
This guy's a total psychopath.
Well, first off, the chances of getting a critical hit and knowing that it's going to happen is still somewhat low. But to permanently disfigure a character's face like that from a monster,
Yeah.
that's just... That player's never going to forget that fight.
They won't.
Ever.
And now, some people, before you get your pantyhose in a bunch, or your boxers, your tighty whities too tight, it says permanent. It's only as permanent until you find magic that can regenerate the flesh.
Right?
So it says permanent, but it's not really. That's why I think this is interesting, because I don't think I've ever seen a feature that literally calls out physically disfiguring the character permanently.
Right.
So I thought that this was very interesting, and once again, it's very much a reminiscent of the Joker, I'll be honest. That's the first thing I thought of.
Let's rewind the hourglasses back a year. These adventurers wouldn't touch you. What happened? Did your boulders fall off?
Oh,
You
my
see, people
God.
like me, a freak. Yeah, people like... Look, listen.
Don't stop, dude.
Oh, damn. I was going to go with... you gotta kill the Batman, but I'm trying to remember the Batman in that adventure we ran, and I can't remember his name.
Me neither.
Bulldog?
Bulldog?
You gotta kill the Bulldog.
He said Bardock by accident.
Yeah, I did. I cannot
If
believe
you're
I
good at
fucked that up.
something, don't do it for free.
So that in and of itself is a really cool one. It has multi-attack, so that increases its chance to really fuck up your face,
Yep.
personally.
Yep.
Gums Malone. And it adds one more feature that I think is interesting called Bellow. The Grinner unhinges its jaws the Grinner unhinges its jaws along its scars, opening its mouth impossibly wide. It emits an otherworldly bellow that is audible for up to 1 mile away. That's a long ways.
Yeah.
All creatures within 30 feet of the Grinner must make a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw. All creatures that fail to save take 5d6 thunder damage and are deafened. They can repeat the saving throw on each of their turns. At the end of each of their turns, ending the effects of being deafened on a success. A creature that succeed on their save take half damage and only deafened until the start of their next turn. Creatures adjacent to the Grinner have disadvantage on the save and must fall prone and drop any equipment they are holding if they fail the save. So this is another thing that's very interesting, because now that you're essentially trying to incapacitate them in some way. And being able to make them deaf, if it's in a dark cave, it allows you to avoid detection a little easier, getting the run and stab kind of monster, I think.
What's the CR on this thing?
5. Well, that's what it originally is. I don't know. I honestly don't know how much it changes with these other features. But what do you guys think about this?
It's an interesting take on something that's already there. So
Yeah, for sure. I definitely could see using this as a big bad.
Oh yeah.
I scroll down and count to the encounter. I saw the magic item. What it's called?
Oh.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so Nathan Hurd, I really like this. To me, this is a really good big baddie. Because if you can manage to get a crit on a player and permanently disfigure them, at least until if they don't have magic right away, it'll leave a very lasting impression. And because of that, I think anything like that stands out is awesome. I also love that the deity is an archdemon named Dentist. I just think that's glorious.
Dentist.
So thank you so much for your submission. Brandon, would you like to talk about? Actually, you're gonna do the. I'll take this one too. Then we'll have magic. We'll have you do the magic item, and then you take. Our encounter of the podcast comes from Charles K. Based off the yellow devil from the Mega Man games. You have a room with 9 magical node spaces around. You have a room with 9 magical node spaces around the room. Every round you roll a d10, and if you roll a 10 or a number, or the number of yellow devil is currently at, he stays put and shoots eldritch blasts at a random person in the room. If you roll a different number, he then dismantles and teleports, in quotes, to a node, to the node rolled. If anyone is in the way when he collides, he collides with them and deals damage as his body slams into you. Well, then he's not teleporting. I guess that's why it's in quotes. It's more like flying across the room. This would be good for like a boulder type construct.
Yep.
No opportunity attacks allowed. You can make a dex save for half damage, or you can scale the damage to different party levels using the DM's guide. There are 2 ways to get past the encounter. Make it a puzzle in the room that you have to activate the different nodes in a certain order, or you have the yellow devil be a creature and they can attack and kill it, and DM's choice. What do you guys think about this?
A good puzzle I can certainly appreciate, so that definitely would shake things up just from straight up combat.
It's not a puzzle I've heard of before.
Huh?
It's not a puzzle I've heard of before.
Yeah. I think it's really neat. Honestly, I would think this would be less like a traditional monster, and I would treat this more like a legendary action than I would like a feature of a monster or a trap or anything.
Maybe.
I could see like using an earth elemental style monster that can break himself apart and just go flying around and knocking into people. I think adding the puzzle that they gotta light if the nodes are channeling different types of energy, maybe trying to find using an arcane caster to channel energy into them or dispel them or trigger them in a certain way, or maybe even luring the monster to different nodes and having to do something with him when he's at a certain node. So I really like the opportunities that come with this. I like the randomness of the die roll. I definitely think it would be interesting. It would be a lot of fun. My only question to you guys is, which monster do we have to beat first to get the appropriate power to beat this guy? Nothing. That's how Mega Man works. You go and beat a certain one to get its power to.
I've never played Mega Man.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
What kind of gamer has never played Mega Man, even on accident?
Even on accident? Well, I did play it by accident, but I never actually played it through.
You're dead to me.
Yeah, I'd end up picking up something else.
Anyways, I really like this encounter, Charles. Thank you for submitting it. Like I said, I would probably treat this more like a legendary action or a lair action even.
Sure.
Than I would like a monster action, but definitely a really cool idea.
I can see that going both ways.
Yeah. Brandon, do you want to talk about our magical item today?
Our magical item.
John G. Don't say Garcia. I didn't get rid of that.
Okay.
John G.
Comes from us by John G. The dagger of fuckery. Or shenanigans for the PG inclined.
We are certainly not the PG inclined.
Speak for yourself.
I do. I guess you are PG. Yeah, you are the one that was ranting and raving like a lunatic about having your Goblin Slayer post removed.
That's not what I said at all.
Oh, well, that's what I read.
And plus D6 dagger of D12 damage type. These
plus D6 dagger.
Right there, second line.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know.
I think it means plus D6 damage to a knife.
Oh, okay. All right, I got it.
Right?
Yeah. That seems unbalanced. Let's just call it a +3.
No, D6 seems fine. I mean, it is a magic item, and a dagger is a D4, so...
Okay, he's saying it should be a D6.
No, I thought I was adding a D6.
Oh, plus D6 of damage.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Plus D6 damage to the, in addition to the D4.
Yeah, this is what happens when I don't reword everything to match the normal context.
Yeah, plus D6 dagger of
That's
D12
how I'm
damage
interpreting it
type.
anyway.
Yeah, let's go with that. All right, go ahead.
What am I saying?
So this weapon does an extra D6 of damage based on a random damage type. There we go. Say that. The weapon, the dagger, does an extra D6 of damage based on a random D12 roll.
This is why we have editing.
Yeah. I can write it out if you want. Will that help?
Yeah, it will, because my mind is derping on me.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Tate. What's up? How you do?
Yo.
There you go. Read that.
This weapon deals an and you fucked it up. You're right here in front of me.
Oh, and I'm out. It says and to me.
This weapon fuck, man. This weapon deals an extra 1d6 damage, determined at random by rolling a d12. I see. This finely crafted blade was left of the mortal. Who wrote this?
I copied and pasted it from an email.
Literacy. This finely crafted blade was left on the mortal plane by a lord of the plane of chaos. Before attacking, roll a d6 for the bonus to hit and damage. If successful, roll a d12 for the damage type.
And then there's a list that breaks it down.
There's
Like,
a list.
It's all the damage types: lightning, force,
acid.
all that jazz.
So we got 1 through 12. Acid, radiant, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic, piercing, poison, psychic, slashing, and thunder.
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 You've been thunderstruck.
Yes.
I love that meme.
Nope,
Yeah.
not by the Irish music.
I think this is really cool because it's basically a blade made out of random shifting energy, right?
Yep.
And so whenever you happen to stab somebody is when it happens to, that's what element it is, which makes it really interesting. It gives it some strength and randomness, which I think is baller.
The dagger of fuckery.
I think like Dagger of Chaos probably makes more sense.
Chaos dagger.
But I think this is really cool. I envision it having like a blade that's shimmering like with a prismatic energy that's constantly shifting. Or maybe it looks like a nice crystal metal, but when you look at it, instead of like a reflection of normal steel, like you'll see a shift of crackling lightning and then maybe flames and look like it's covered in like a gooey acid or something like that. It glows.
Or maybe it's
It
like
thrums.
Or maybe it's like a crystal that has like a shifting electrical light inside that keeps shifting colors as you stab people with it.
That is way cooler than what I said. So we're going to go with that.
Man, this knife is fucking blue. I don't like blue. Okay, it's red.
Well, I assume it changes just constantly, and it's just random. But I really liked playing the Chaos Sorcerer in 4th edition.
Yep.
And this really fits that theme, and I would love to have it. The fact that it's a dagger means it can be used and wielded by a caster, which is really good.
Right.
So
Now I'm thinking about the character Chaos Knight in Dota 2.
Dota.
I don't play Dota.
Well, I just remember a lot of like people in like the meta, if you will, hate that character just because due to his chaotic nature of his spells, you don't quite know how much damage he's gonna do. So he can hit average, he can hit really awesome, but he's like for complete crap. So
Story of my life. Some RNG attacks.
taste the rainbow.
We'll call it the Skittles dagger. The dagger of Skittles. Come and taste the rainbow, bitch. That'll do it for our magic item. Our dungeon master tip of the. Oh, you want to take our dungeon master
You
tip?
like green apple? Fuck your throat.
I like to pair him with lime.
Lime. Our Dungeon Master tip for the week is brought to you by our patron, Nathan Hurd.
Herd.
And it's a physical and
Have to everybody
physical
heard
props.
about the herd.
Taste the rainbow, embrace the suck. That's from Date. That's funny. Bring physical props for NPCs. I attempt accents and physical posture, and I'm slowly improving, but still not where I'd like to be with them. There's something in my eye.
Oh, there's gotta be.
Oh, fuck off.
Wow.
In a campaign with a lot of NPCs, this poses a bit of a problem. So my solution is physical props. When I'm role playing the mysterious researcher that seems to want to help the PCs without wanting anything in return, I always hold a journal while I talk. When I'm role playing a grizzled town guard captain, I'll wear a necklace with a direwolf pendant. The halfling charlatan wears a backwards baseball cap. And the PCs that wants to keep a low profile has the baseball cap facing forwards, down over his face to hide his identity. When I'm role-playing the Lord of the City, or any other important noble, I'll wear a Halloween crown. Props like this help my players visualize who they're talking to, and I've found that using props helps me get into character more easily and commit more fully to doing the accents, postures, etc. That make role-playing encounters so dynamic. It also helps when I have to role-play multiple NPCs at once. That's gotta be a pain in the ass.
Oh, yeah.
Switching back and forth between wearing a baseball cap and wearing glasses ensures that players know who is talking and helps the conversation flow more smoothly.
Honestly, Nathan, I want to just say thank you.
Yeah.
Because this is a stumbling block that I have all the time, and you've seen it where I get my voices mixed up when I'm trying to do 3 different voices in one scene, and I forget which one goes to which character.
I'm now totally picturing somebody like bringing like a box of hats.
Like a bunch of weird hats too, not like a baseball cap. Like one's a baseball cap, one's a cowboy hat, another one's a fabulous looking hat. You know,
One's a fez.
I would totally make sock puppets and just have them talk over the DM screen.
That's funny.
Dungeon Bastard does that. It's hilarious.
Who does?
The Dungeon Bastard.
Oh, I didn't know. That's awesome. I'll check that out.
I tell you about the show all the freaking time.
Yeah, but I can't. I don't have time to check every single thing out. And I'm so busy all the time.
I still laugh at when you talk about where half-orcs come from. Here's how I picture where half-orcs come from. Based up 2 sock puppets. Picture 2 jacks at the bar. Dude, hit that. Done.
I'm gonna go talk to her. You don't have any moves on her. I got this move that works every time. Walks up to her and knocks her out.
No, that's so bad.
That's terrible.
That was a Street Fighter sketch between.
Was it really?
It was between Ryu and Zangief. Zangief says, "I have this move that works every time." He walks up to Sakura and body slams her and just takes her away.
That's terrible on
that's
so many
horrible.
levels.
I'm gonna have to cut that. You know that, right?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Nathan, I think this is an awesome tip, and I am stealing it. Because this will help me a lot, and I'm sure other people have problems like that. You guys ever have problems like that? Oh,
I don't really DM.
I mean,
so.
the only time I had 2 NPCs that were talking at the same time, or like were right next to each other, was I was DMing. The players came into a shop at a pier. There's a guy who had an eye patch on, and he talked all grizzled and everything. And he said, "I'll be right back. I'll go check in the shop," or something like that. Oh, that's what it was. The players asked for something specific. He said, "Try next door. They probably got something over there."
I remember this story.
And he goes, "So, okay." And then they walk into the next thing, and they ring the bell, and they see a guy coming from the back who looks exactly like the shopkeep from the other shop, except the eye patch is on the other eye now. And like, "Do you have a twin?" It's like, "Yes, I have a twin. And he's missing his right eye." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And they get talking, they buy their stuff, and you hear the jingle of the bells on the door from the other shop that they were just in. And he goes, "Hang on a second." So he takes the eye patch, moves it to his other eye, and goes to the other store.
You should totally make that a sketch.
I'm totally now picturing that picture I saw on Facebook. Eventually, like a guy could be a Wheel of Fortune. he had an eye patch, and the caption for it was like, "Wife, I thought you hated Wheel of Fortune. I do, but I'm not changing this channel to this guy asked for an eye."
Oh my god.
God.
All right. Thank you for your submission, Nathan. That'll do it for our DM tip. Physical props for NPCs. Our player tip of the podcast is
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, let's sing it.
Let's not yell into our mics this time, though, right?
Oh.
And our player tip of the podcast is
Don't be a dick.
God.
And you can avoid dickitude by don't add your character to another player's backstory without talking to him first. I can't believe I gotta say this. This is a thing. This was a thing recently. Don't do this. It's their story, not yours. D&D is a collaborative story, but forcing yourself into someone else's history is a douche thing to do, and it's the same thing as forcing yourself into their bed. At least that's the way it feels. And the same goes the other way around. Don't add them to your story without talking to them first.
Although I can see some opportunities of people inserting themselves. Like a picture, for example, like, yeah, I went on a quest because this dick stole a family heirloom of mine. It was this excellent red crystal, does on a necklace. And that's how I got the picture, the rogue.
Now, I know we've had discussions on the show about having bonding links, right? Where
Yeah.
you form a bond with somebody. That's kind of like this, but that's with permission, right?
Mhm.
Hey, we're going to do this thing. You're going to tell me one reason or how you know this person and one fact about your relationship. That sort of thing's acceptable. But when you write out a whole goddamn book, and like a chapter of it is dedicated to some interaction you're having with another character, please talk to that player first and make sure that that's okay and that's something they want, because now that's something they have to fit into their story. I had this happen in a game recently, and it's don't do this shit. Why do I have to tell people that? I guess I had to tell them to read the book too. So, you guys ever experienced something like this? You ever been your character ever been tossed into somebody else's story without your permission?
Not necessarily. So, but I could definitely see the argument for, don't do that.
Not really. I mean, there's the beginning of a mod or something like that. When we're doing that, we're trying to figure out how the characters know each other.
Yep.
But that's probably about as far as I've gone.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a very specific example, and if you're out there listening and you know who you are, don't do that shit. Don't bring me shit like that no more, okay? It's not okay. I mean, if it's one line, okay, this person arrested me. Okay, fine. But
And especially if they're like the town warden or sheriff or something.
yeah,
like where they
but
came from.
damn, man.
Or if you really wanted to, like, go off what Ian was saying, that this rogue stole an heirloom off me, and then when it gets to the rogue, he goes, "I sold it. He's no longer tied to me."
Still a douche. Anyways, so I know this sounds very particular, and it is, but obviously this is a thing people do. I never only had this happen once to the point where it really pissed me off, and that was recently, so thus why it is now a player tip. So I think that'll do it for our player tip. Don't be a dick.
No, be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by don't add your character to other people's story or vice versa. All right, that's a douche thing to do. That's not a lot, and that's not a very complex one. But damn,
No.
people, come on. All right, that'll do it for our show today. Before we close out, we have one more gift to give away. Compliments of Jeff Stevens.
Hasn't they won before?
Matt No Name,
Yeah,
75.
You want to say that again? Because I was talking. Sorry.
Our winner,
Sorry, that just came out of nowhere.
I bet that microphone smells like dirty asshole.
our winner for today is Matt No Name, 75.
Sure, Tate will be happy.
That's really good. I like that
God
one.
damn it.
Do you guys like that?
Yeah.
Yes!
This will be far shorter, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just the whole thing right now, but I'll find a snippet. Send me that snippet you got that you put with your voice.
Which one?
The one with the one that we just re-recorded for the ad. The snippet from Curse of Scarab.
Why do you want it?
so that I can overlay it on the one I've got. You've already cut it, right? Why do you look so confused?
What are you talking about?
The ad you just recorded.
Okay,
you
yes.
You recorded it once and you sent it with music in the background. Do you have that snippet still?
Yeah, it's in your email.
Not without your voice.
Yeah, it's on my computer.
Can you email that to me?
What? Why? What's...
Because you just recorded the thing and I'm gonna make the volume was unbalanced.
So you want the music?
Yes.
Oh.
You've already cropped it and cut it and it sounded nice.
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't know if I took longer or shorter redoing it. So music might have
never mind.
Music might have.
What does that say?
In March, play this as the entrance song in Comet and Dancing just as Leprechauns.
Oh snap! That's baller.
It is funny.
Who should never be
All right,
born? Gingers, who's adopted?
Oh my god,
Gingers.
that's horrible. So congratulations, Matt No Name. If you enjoyed the adventure, please leave Jeff Stevens a review and tell him what you like about the product. That'll do it for our show today. Please join us on our next episode why can't I do that? Please join us on our next episode where we hear feedback. Will you stop fucking breathing
That was him.
like a goddamn horse into the mic?
That second one. The second one was him. I did the first one.
First three. Stop it.
This is becoming weird.
Please join us on our next episode where we hear feedback from you, our heroes. We will be discussing the law of the land. What is the appropriate punishment for stealing?
You cut off the hands. So I can never steal again.
See, that's what I thought, but apparently that's not everywhere. So
Yeah, well.
we'll be discussing many things like that, appropriate punishments for different crimes that undoubtedly the players will do outside of murder hoboing. So...
If you have any feedback, unearthed tips and tricks, or topics you would like us to discuss, please send them. You can email them to us at critacademy@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at Crit Academy.
We hope you've enjoyed your experience here at the Crit Academy. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving a hopefully 5-star review on iTunes or platform of your choice, or just send us a message telling us how much you enjoy the show.
Also, be sure to give us a like and a share.
You too, Ed. You all have a good week.
Here.
Yes, give you.
Oh, it's my turn, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah!
I was doing something else.
Make sure to subscribe.
We hope you enjoyed your experience here at...
I did that.
Did you?
Also, be sure to give us a like and share. We did that too. Make sure to subscribe.
Make sure to shut up. Make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com so we can help you on your future adventures, as well as be entered to win cool prizes each and every week, compliments of our sponsors. You can also find links to our fellowship members there as well. If you have not checked out Interparty Conflict, Gabe and Jeff do an amazing show every week. They answer your questions to help bring you the best tabletop gaming experience possible, as well as check out D&D Character Lab. Every week they create very very in-depth characters and then argue whose baby is better. Yeah. You also find we've got many other members part of our Crit Nation Fellowship, so definitely check them out. We do have a Patreon. If you think our show is worth $1 a month, head on over to critacademy.com or head on over to head on over to critacademy.com and click on our Patreon link. You can sign up there for as little as $1 a month, and depending on the tier, you get bonus content and access to special stuff. Depending on the tier you select. You can also pick up if you don't want to become in addition, you can support our show by checking out Brandon's art commissions. He does full color art for $20 and line art for $8. Or you can just go onto our website and click on either the tools section or buy a t-shirt in the swag area.
T-shirt.
And a little bit of an update on my side here. August, it's Jonathan Sherdikin. September is David Pinedo. Pinedo. It's one of our patrons. October is Ryan Tringen, and November is Interparty Conflict. Those are the winners of the free commissions from August to now. I'm going to send emails out and get you guys to know so I can get those done.
That'll be on you. Send out those emails.
No shit.
All right. So that I'm your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
I'm your host, Dan.
Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes. And keep those weapons killing. I want you guys to hear something.
Brought to you by Davy Jones's Weapon Supply.
What?
Open a locker, find a random weapon. Every time you shut it, it's a new one. Just like Borderlands.
Yeah, that's why I thought you would like Destiny 2. It's a mix of Halo meets Borderlands.
Yeah.
Here, keep your headset on. I want you to hear something. Ian, who's our winner today?
Our winner today is BT Maloney.
Did anybody else here beat my baloney?
I was giggling for like a half hour because of that. Oh shit! We have a guest today. Hey Justin, how awesome would it be if you invited your fucking guest onto the goddamn show?
I thought we were forgetting something.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
To be honest, I was waiting for him to call in.
Yeah, I didn't actually send him the link. So how about fucking Justin pays attention, huh?
Dude, we were eating here. Yep, that's right. Your rolls.
I got the giggles today, dude. I'm gonna shit myself. I was giggling so hard.
You got the giggle sharks.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys are hilarious. You guys make me laugh all the time when I'm editing the show.
Giggle sharks.
I'm just giggling. You guys are so awesome. Okay, I know you're gonna hate me, but I need you guys to send me your PayPal emails again. Email it to critacademy@gmail.com, please, so I don't lose them or forget them, or
I can just message you.
you keep doing that, and that's why I can't ever find them. I forget. I know it sounds stupid, and I am so sorry. Alicia's like, why don't you write that shit down? I'm like, I don't know.
I don't get it though. My PayPal email is my email.
Same here. I'm just going to directly message you, not group message, directly.
Okay, that'll work. That means because you send me those less, so
Yeah.
because they get they get lost in the thing. Brandon's might be okay because I think he sent me some money. Yeah, I'm gonna include October's in the payment. I said I was gonna do it last week. I didn't at all. I promise someday I'll pay you guys. I'm really pushing for this book, dude. We gotta do a lot of marketing when this book goes out, guys. Oh, hey, look, I should probably enter the stream. I didn't know the stream was still going. Hi.
Hello? I bet you going,
Oh
I'm
my
going to keep
God.
on this train wreck, see where it goes.
All right, well, I guess we'll see you later,
What
Ed.
do these guys do when the camera's still on? Is that an orgy? Are they fucking?
By the way, I don't. You guys won't get very much. You'll get more than he will, though, by a lot. He owes me a lot of money for his art. See you later. Bye. He's like, I better get my refund.